He'll never do it. A Republican can't do a rally in New York. He'll never fill MSG. All the pundits, all the scholars and the consultants and everybody else in D.C., they were all wrong. Again, Trump just walked into Kamala's kitchen, took the milk out of her fridge, put his feet up on the kitchen table and said, "How you like them apples, lady?" And why? Why did 20,000 people pack MSG, including me, by the way? And according to the NYPD, an additional 75,000 were outside. Why'd they show up?
We're going to get the government off your back and out of your pocketbook. America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing.
This is the anthem of the forgotten. And millions of people who have never voted before, who just heard the richest man in the world, the guy landing 20-story rockets back into the same tower that it launched from, the guy rescuing astronauts that NASA and Boeing left in space, the guy who's fulfilled every goal he's ever set out to achieve, every person who's never thought their voice mattered, just heard him promise that Donald Trump was going to allow him to reduce our government back to of, by, and for the people.
I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country. And I will bring back the American dream. We need the American dream to come back home.
And what do you got, Kamala? Certainly not any worthwhile track record. What's your go-to? Trump's a Nazi. Oh, yeah. Hold on a sec. Is that an Israeli flag at Madison's? Worst Nazi impersonator ever. In fact, there was not one incident last night among the 100,000 people. And when the libs rode by on their bicycles screaming obscenities, they were drowned out by chants of USA. They weren't fought. The biggest complaint is that some comedian said this.
You know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay.
I don't know if the left has ever heard of this thing called comedy, but now that's a problem that he says that, because when the left-wing rag Vox ran a piece saying that a few years ago, said exactly that. It was totally fine, apparently. And this was totally fine, too. Holding up a severed head of Donald Trump, in fact. Kathy Griffin got sympathy when she was attacked for her horrible, what she called a joke. The alternative to the status quo is here now, folks. A coalition of a Kennedy, a Democrat presidential candidate, the richest man in the world, the head of Ultimate Fighting, Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt, the most famous television commentator of my lifetime, all saying we need Trump to course correct this nation. I mean, we've spent ourselves into oblivion under the promise of prosperity. And for what? Higher taxes, unaffordable housing, 100% increase in the price of food. 159 countries just dropped the U.S. dollar from their trade currency. Crime spiking, open borders. Kids can get sex changes without their parents knowing anything. It's crazy. Any sane person in the world who has watched the two states that these people have been in charge of, Kamala and Waltz, California and Wisconsin, in Minnesota, have been in charge. They've been in charge of the worst opportunity wastelands. There's not a single metric to prove me wrong. I hope there aren't enough fools to reelect this platform. What Democrats, and I think largely Kamala, has missed is that you can love your country and hate your government. And a lot of people hate their government right now, but really love their country. And they don't care if you call them racist for it. I certainly don't. Even Kamala's own super PAC says, hey, it's time to back off this stuff. But 8 days out from an election, what's she going to do? She's going to publish a bunch of policies and suddenly become proficient in something that she hasn't been able to become proficient in 40 years? She's not intellectually capable of having those discussions. This basically comes down to which priorities are you voting for? Your own or Washington, D.C.'s? There's almost no overlap. The self-proclaimed experts in D.C., they don't know anything. You're the real expert. You know what's better for you and your family. You know how to spend your money better than the government. You know what's better for your kids, and you know who's really going to fight to give you back control. This is a battle of consultants versus constituents, people who pay taxes versus those who consume and benefit from them. The only people in favor of big government, more regulation, higher taxes, more control, are the people paying the least and benefiting the most from that. That doesn't make them experts. The people producing the products are the experts, you at home, not those deciding how much of your profit to steal from you. This country was founded by folks that were told that they didn't know what was best for themselves. Obey the experts in England at the time. You know, George Washington was like the OG MAGA. There he is right there. He was denied a commission by the British Army because they said he wasn't officer material. Just like they told Trump he wasn't fit to lead. We've all become way too willing to allow people who have never worked a day in the industry that they regulate, never been elected by anyone, enormous power to govern our lives, and we have absolutely had it. That's the anthem of the forgotten. And that's what MSG and the 100,000 people in New York yesterday are telling those in D.C., and they better listen. All those experts, oh my God, Trump wants to cut taxes. What will we do? Trump says we don't have to listen to them anymore. And even some of the left's most staunch supporters are flipping a week out. A 22-year-old brainwashed into being a delegate for Kamala just unplugged himself from the Matrix and is now on the Trump train. Welcome with open arms, buddy. It's like watching a light bulb come on as these people break the chains of the Democrat Party. Yeah, I said chains. Call me whatever you want. Watching these people realize that we have become so accustomed to paying this level of taxes, having this level of regulation. It's like a come to Jesus when the average person wakes up and suddenly realizes, hey, wait a minute, paying a fee to get permission to build a house on land that I own for environmental reasons, granted by the same people who polluted rivers with millions of gallons of toxic waste, is really stupid. Welcome aboard the Trump train. When the parent who has previously embraced a structure to such an extent that they've lost their own child to the woke mind virus, like Elon did, that was what flipped him. When the liberal machine stole his child from him, convincing him that they were, transgender or whatever, the opposite sex. Welcome aboard, Elon. You're doing great. When someone who has voted Democrat their whole life, maybe been on welfare and been hearing for 50 years that Republicans are the boogeyman, that they voted Democrat their entire lives, but their quality of life has consistently gone downhill, except for the beacon of hope under Trump's first 4 years. We're here for you too. Get on board. Let's make your life better. This is probably the only chance America has to reverse the growth of government. I promise you, if you get your friends who might be on the fence of the poll, if you get them to the polls in a week, tell them to vote for more control over their lives. They will be more prosperous. I gave too much for this country. I had too many friends not come home to sit idly by while the ideals they fought for are abused by some unelected bureaucrat. It's time for those of us that have been forgotten and not listened to for so long to take that stand.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.